There is a moment you know too well. You said yes again. You smiled while something inside you went quiet. You walked away from that conversation feeling smaller, lighter on the outside, heavier on the inside. And later that night, when the house was still and your phone stopped buzzing, you sat on the edge of your bed and asked yourself why being good feels so much like being used. That feeling is not weakness. That feeling is a signal. There is a reason your kindness keeps turning into a cage, and tonight I am going to show you exactly what is happening underneath it. Your eyes are on this video for a reason. Subscribe now, and I will show you what is really happening behind the smile you keep wearing for everyone else. Let me tell you about a woman named Maya. She was the friend everyone called when life fell apart. The one who answered at 2 in the morning. The one who drove across town in the rain when someone she loved was crying. The one who remembered birthdays, listened to long stories, and never made anyone feel like a burden. Maya thought she was being a good person, and she was. But something else was happening too. One day she got sick, really sick. The kind of sick where you cannot get out of bed and you need someone to bring you soup and sit with you. She picked up her phone and started scrolling through her contacts. She put the phone down without calling anyone. Not because no one would come, but because she was not sure anyone would. She had spent 10 years being the person who shows up, and somewhere along the way, she stopped being the person who gets shown up for. And in that quiet apartment, with a fever burning behind her eyes, she finally understood something. Her kindness had become a trap. Not the kind with metal teeth, the kind with soft edges, the kind that closes slowly so you do not even notice until you are already inside. This is what nobody tells you about being a kind person in a world that does not always know how to handle kindness. When you give without limits, people stop seeing your giving as a gift. They start seeing it as your job, your role, your personality. They forget that you are a human being who also gets tired, who also gets hurt, who also needs care. They start to expect from you what they would never expect from anyone else. And the worst part is, you trained them to do it. You did not mean to. You were just trying to be loved. You were just trying to be safe. You learned somewhere, probably when you were very young, that being needed was the closest thing to being valued. So you became the helper, the fixer, the peacemaker, the one who never said no. And it worked for a while. People liked you. People kept you close. People called you sweet and selfless and amazing. Those words felt good. They filled something inside you that had been empty for a long time. So you kept doing it. You kept giving more, smiling wider, saying yes faster. And slowly, without realizing it, you started to disappear inside your own life. This is the part that hurts to admit. Kindness without boundaries is not kindness. It is fear wearing a costume. Save this video. You are going to want to come back to it the next time someone makes you feel guilty for finally saying no. Think about the last time someone asked you for something you did not want to give. Maybe it was your time. Maybe it was money. Maybe it was emotional energy you did not have. You felt that twist in your stomach, that tightness in your chest, that voice in your head saying, you should help, you should be there, you are a good person, do not be selfish. And you said yes. Again? Then you walked away from that conversation feeling something strange, a mix of pride and resentment. Pride because you did the right thing, resentment because some part of you knew you betrayed yourself to do it. That mix is the signature of a kindness trap. Real kindness does not leave resentment in its wake. Real kindness leaves you feeling full, not empty. If you feel emptier after giving, something is broken in the giving. Here is what is actually happening in your brain. When you grow up in an environment where love feels conditional, your nervous system learns a rule. The rule is simple: to stay safe, stay useful, to be loved, be needed, to avoid pain, avoid disappointing anyone. Your brain wires itself around this rule like a vine wraps around a fence. By the time you are an adult, you do not even notice the rule anymore. You just feel anxious when someone is upset with you. You just feel guilty when you put yourself first. You just feel like a bad person for having needs. But you are not a bad person. You are a person who learned to survive by becoming small. There is a real story about a man named Daniel. He worked in an office where everyone dumped their problems on him. He was the listener, the advice giver, the shoulder. He stayed late to help coworkers finish their projects. He covered shifts. He smoothed over conflicts that had nothing to do with him. One day, his boss passed him over for a promotion. They gave it to someone louder, someone who took credit for things, someone who said no often. Daniel was devastated. He had done everything right. He had been the team player. He had been the helper. He had been so kind, and it had cost him everything he was working for. He went home that night and stared at the ceiling for hours. Then it hit him. The world had not punished him for being kind. The world had simply stopped seeing him as a person with ambition. He had trained everyone, including his boss, to see him as a resource instead of a contender. His kindness had erased his outline. He had become background music in his own career. This is what happens when your kindness becomes a trap. People stop seeing you as someone who has dreams. They start seeing you as someone who serves their dreams. Follow for more content like this. Your mind needs to hear these truths more than once. Now let me say something that might sting a little. The people in your life who love you for your kindness, really love you, will not punish you when you start setting limits. They might be surprised. They might need a moment to adjust, but they will respect you more, not less. The people who get angry when you finally say no were never loving you. They were loving what you did for them. That is a hard sentence. Read it again. Let it land. This is why setting boundaries feels so terrifying. It is not just that you are afraid of conflict. It is that on some deep level, you know that your boundaries will reveal who actually loves you and who only loved your service. And that knowledge is heavy, because you might lose people. You might find out that some relationships were never as real as you believed they were. But here is the truth that no one wants to say out loud. You are losing those people anyway. They were already gone. You were just paying rent to keep their shadow around. Letting them drift away is not loss. It is clarity. Think about how you treat yourself when you are alone. The voice in your head when you make a mistake. The way you talk to yourself when you are tired. The forgiveness you so easily give to everyone else, do you give it to yourself? The patience you offer to strangers, do you offer it to your own heart? Most kind people are cruel to one person, themselves. You hold yourself to a standard you would never demand from someone you love. You apologize for taking up space. You apologize for being human. You apologize for needing things, and then you wonder why you feel so tired, so flat, so far away from your own life. The tiredness is not from doing too much. The tiredness is from being unkind to the one person who needs your kindness most. Turn on notifications. The next video might be the one that finally makes something click for you. Let me show you what a kindness trap actually looks like in real life. It looks like answering a text the moment it arrives because waiting feels rude. It looks like apologizing when someone bumps into you. It looks like agreeing with an opinion you do not actually hold because disagreement feels dangerous. It looks like laughing at a joke that hurts you. It looks like staying in a friendship that drains you because ending it feels mean. It looks like dating someone who treats you like an option because leaving feels selfish. It looks like working a job that breaks you because quitting feels ungrateful. It looks like 1,000 small surrenders that add up to a life that does not feel like yours. You are not weak for living this way. You are just tired of fighting battles you never agreed to. The shift begins the day you realize that being good and being agreeable are not the same thing. A good person can say no. A good person can disappoint someone. A good person can choose themselves without guilt. In fact, a truly good person must do these things sometimes. Because giving from an empty cup is not generosity. It is slow self-destruction wearing the face of virtue. You cannot pour from a cup that has been dry for years, and no one taught you how to refill it. You learned only how to keep pouring. Tonight, that ends. Comment one word below that describes how you feel after watching this part. I read every comment, and sometimes one word from a stranger can save another stranger reading after you. There is a feeling that comes when you start to set boundaries for the first time. It is not relief. Not at first. At first it feels like guilt. Heavy, thick, suffocating guilt. You will say no to something small, and your whole body will react like you just committed a crime. That guilt is not proof that you did something wrong. That guilt is proof that you did something new. Your nervous system has been trained for years, maybe decades, to keep you safe by keeping you small. When you step outside that pattern, your body sounds the alarm. It thinks you are in danger. It floods you with feelings that scream, fix this, apologize, take it back, go back to being useful. This is not your conscience. This is your conditioning. The difference matters. Conscience tells you when you have hurt someone. Conditioning tells you that existing as a full person is hurting someone. Learn to know the difference and your whole life changes. Here is a small experiment you can try this week. The next time someone asks you for something, do not answer right away. Just say, "Let me get back to you." Then go somewhere quiet. Ask yourself a question. If I say yes, will I feel proud of this choice tomorrow, or will I feel resentful? If the answer is resentment, the answer is no. It is that simple and that hard, because saying no will feel like betrayal, even when it is not, even when you are simply choosing yourself for the first time in years. You will feel like a bad friend, a bad child, a bad partner, a bad person. That feeling is the cost of breaking a pattern that almost killed you slowly. Pay the cost. It is worth it. You are not betraying anyone by becoming whole. You are finally meeting yourself. Bookmark this video. The day you doubt your right to say no, you are going to need to hear this again. There is a quiet kind of grief that comes with this work. When you start respecting yourself, you begin to see how often you abandoned yourself in the past. You will remember moments when you stayed silent, moments when you smiled through pain, moments when you let someone treat you in a way you would never let them treat anyone you love. That grief is real. Let yourself feel it, but do not stay in it, because that younger version of you was not weak. That younger version of you was doing the only thing they knew how to do to survive. They kept the peace because they had to. They gave too much because giving felt like the only way to be safe. Honor them, then let them rest. They are not running your life anymore. You are. This is the moment everything changes. The moment you stop being a hostage to your own goodness. Real kindness, the kind that does not turn into a trap, looks different than what most of us were taught. It is not endless, yes. It is not constant availability. It is not erasing yourself to make someone else comfortable. Real kindness includes you. You are not separate from the kindness you give. You are one of the people who deserves it. Say that again to yourself. You are one of the people who deserves your kindness. When you start treating yourself as someone worthy of your own care, something incredible happens. Your kindness becomes powerful instead of desperate. It comes from overflow instead of emptiness. People feel the difference. They cannot explain it, but they feel it. You become someone whose love means something because it is freely chosen, not anxiously offered. That is the kindness that heals the world, not the kindness that exhausts itself trying. Share this with someone who is the friend everyone calls, but no one checks on. They need to hear this tonight. You might be wondering how you got here in the first place. How did being a good person become so painful? The answer usually goes back further than you remember. There was a moment, probably very early, when you learned that love had a price tag. Maybe a parent only softened when you were helpful. Maybe a sibling needed you to be the calm one. Maybe a teacher praised you for being so mature, so quiet, so easy. You learned what got you love, and you became that every day for years. But here is what no child can understand. Love that has to be earned is not love. It is a transaction. Real love is given to who you are, not what you do. And the deep ache you carry, the one you cannot quite name, is the ache of a person who has never been loved simply for existing. That ache is not a flaw. It is a clue. It is your soul telling you what it has been missing. You can give that to yourself now. Today, in this moment. It starts with small things. Drinking water before you start answering texts. Eating a meal before you check on everyone else. Going to bed when you are tired instead of pushing through one more task. These tiny acts are not selfish. They are the foundation of a self that knows it matters. You cannot love yourself in theory. You have to love yourself in practice. And practice means doing the things you would do for someone you love, for yourself. Speaking to yourself gently. Resting when you need rest. Saying no when the answer is no. Saying yes when the answer is yes. Treating your own time like it is valuable, because it is. Stay close to this channel. The journey back to yourself is long, and you do not have to walk it alone. Some people in your life will not like the new you. That is okay. Not everyone in your life signed up to know the real you. Some of them only knew the version of you that served them. When that version starts to disappear, they will feel uncomfortable. They might call you cold. They might say you have changed. They might try to guilt you back into the old role. Let them say what they need to say. Stay where you are. Because the discomfort they feel is not your responsibility. Their discomfort is the friction of a new boundary, and friction is always part of change. The people who truly love you will get used to the new you. They might even celebrate her or him. The people who do not get used to it were never loving you. They were loving access to you. Losing access to you is a consequence they earned, not a punishment you delivered. This is a hard truth, and it might make you cry. That is okay. Tears are not weakness. Tears are the body releasing what the mind has been carrying alone. Let them come. Let them wash something out of you that has been stuck for a long time. You do not have to carry every story anymore. You do not have to be strong every second of every day. You are allowed to be soft and unbreakable at the same time. Imagine a future version of you. A few years from now, she wakes up in a quiet home. He drinks his coffee slowly. They check their phone without anxiety. They say no without apologizing. They say yes without resentment. They are surrounded by people who love them, not people who use them. That version of you exists, and the only thing standing between you and them is this work. So begin, not perfectly, not all at once. Begin with one no this week. Begin with one moment of choosing yourself. Begin with one boundary that feels small but feels true. Then another, then another. This is how a kind person becomes a free person. Slowly, quietly, powerfully. The world will not throw you a parade for it. But you will know, and that is enough. You will finally know what it feels like to be on your own side. Your kindness was never the problem. Your kindness is one of the most beautiful things about you. The problem was that you forgot to be kind to yourself first. The problem was that you confused being good with being available. The problem was that you carried weight that was never yours to carry. None of that means you are broken. It means you were brave for a long time without anyone noticing. Someone is noticing now. I am noticing. You are noticing. That is where freedom begins. You are allowed to be loved without earning it. You are allowed to rest without proving you deserve it. You are allowed to take up space in your own life without apologizing for the room. You are allowed to be human, fully, messily, completely. Your kindness was meant to bless your life, not bury it. It is time to take it back. If one person in this video reminded you of yourself, share it with them. Subscribe for more videos that speak the truth you need to hear.